Okay, let's start. Hello, I'm going to introduce myself. So, Patrick from AlterTime. Nice to meet you guys. We already met, but we have people who don't know you. So if you can do a quick introduction, name, what you do, and what you work at Blizzard, that would be great.
So my name is Gabriel González. I'm the lead visual development artist for World of Warcraft.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton. I'm the associate design director on World of Warcraft.
Sounds good. So let's start with the first question. So during the Wrathion Alpha and during the London event, we were told that the Midnight story has already started developing. So our question is, since 10 until now and until we launched, has there been any changes to the main storyline or any revisions you guys did, or is it still going as planned originally?
The main story itself, the main character arc, has not changed. We know what the big beats are. We know where we want them to happen. We know how this will end.
Yeah.
That has not changed. We have had smaller changes, though. There are a lot of details, and as we decide what we want to have happen when, we adjust and we move things around. So sometimes we think, oh, we'll put this in the War Within, and then later think, it would be better, it would fit better with the pacing if we shift it. So we definitely have been shifting things around, and we continue to do so because, of course, we have the content releases as well, and we need to figure out what we're putting there. So we're still making changes. We're in production fully on the content releases as well as Midnight, and we're in pre-production on the last Titan. So we're already moving. Yes,
we're already moving. That's good. That's good to know. So now, Silvermoon rework. The community loved it, and I mean I loved it, and we wanted to make sure it's probably not easy to pull off. There's been challenges. There have been probably roadblocks in the line, so can you just talk about some of them? What was like the biggest challenge to create such a rework? What was the roadblock?
I speaking on the art side of things, one of the biggest challenges that we had with the city was really making sure that we capture the uniqueness, the identity of Silvermoon, that it didn't change with the up-res and the more modern fidelity, right? So. For a lot of players, for me actually, that was the very first experience of World of Warcraft, making a character in Eversong Woods and playing through all that. So for me and for a lot of other people in the team, it was really important that we make sure that it still feels like the city, right? So making sure that we still keep those iconic elements, but that we add more to it and turn the dial in a way that feels additive and not necessarily subtracting anything that players would miss, right? We really wanted to make sure that we were adding to the fantasy and increasing it and not taking anything away from anybody.
Which, that is a good thing to the next question. How much of the original city was kept and how much was actually completely changed and it's new when we're going to explore it?
I would say we added a lot more to the city. If you look at the original map, obviously after the events of when the Lich King attacked the city back in the original version of the city, there was a whole half of it that had been destroyed by it was kind of the end of the Death Scar, right?
Yeah.
In this version of the city, it actually has become the part that the Alliance is going to be occupying. And so the original part of the city is still there in terms of footprint and in terms of volume. All the iconic elements are still there. They have changed. I mean, with the fidelity that we sought to make it a better city that you can path in. Now that we can fly as well, I think so that is
fly. That's good.
Yeah, that is a big part of the design that impacted what the city needed to be. Because on the original one, that wasn't a factor that we were worried about, right? So.
Makes sense.
I think players are going to be really happy with what we did in order to keep those iconic elements, but still.
It's going to be new ones. And you mentioned Alliance there. So, we Silvermoon, Horde City. Now we have Alliance. You mentioned that one of the parts is going to be for the Alliance and one is going to be for the Horde, I guess. Are there going to be any shared area where we will see Alliance and Horde together?
So the part that the Alliance occupies is not Alliance exclusive. It's actually for both, and there's going to be an area where the Alliance is not permitted to enter.
Losomar is, I guess, right?
Exactly.
We don't want him. We don't want the Alliance. He's going to kill him.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Players feel that way, and I think that is actually in the story of Midnight. That is something that we want to show. That friction of paladins showing up and being around in a space where a lot of them don't think they belong, right? They love that they're there to protect, the Sunwell, but they don't want them everywhere in the city. Right?
Yeah, come to here. After this line, don't try.
Yeah, I was going to say part of what we wanted to show in the story is as time goes by, they become increasingly restless, having these paladins stomping around the city, and there's increasing friction where there's like, it's one thing that you're here to help us. It's another thing that you are seeming like you think you own our city. Yeah. This is our city. And so we really wanted to make sure that the Horde felt, that they weren't losing a city somehow. It's their city. They are allowing the Alliance to set up here.
Yep.
And the Alliance is helping in this fight. So they have expectations that they're going to be, treated well, hospitably.
If you go help somewhere, you don't want to be kicked out 2 minutes after you finish.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That makes sense. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I'm a Horde player, so I want to keep my part of the city for me. It's like, please no Alliance, otherwise we'll kill you. So that is good. So thanks for that. Let's start with the next question. So this is a art question. At which point during an expansion does art really start to go in? And like art of the zone, art of stuff, it is from the start. I guess concept art is the first thing to come. Or like, that's the process and getting art in the expansion and actually launched.
Yeah, in terms of art, the very tip of the sphere for that is visual development. So that's what my team handles, is usually trying to explore really, really early ideas in terms of like the visuals that we might want to explore, right? Actually, when we're really far ahead, oftentimes when me exploring story moments, or like maybe what is like a cool representation of an idea that is maybe floating around the details of how moments that we might want to see, right? So we're usually pretty far ahead of the other production art teams. It could be years ahead. It could be 2-3 years ahead of what we're actually going to see. So we really try to do our due diligence to make sure that we're exploring and that we're finding the best solutions for the things that we want to see in the game.
So Maria mentioned the last Titan is already on the way, so I guess you're already there as well, I guess. Okay. Okay, so now a question for the Blood Elves. We're going back to Silvermoon. The initial zone is there. What's going to happen with that? Are we going to see them still level up and see the new city? Or is it going to be the similar system where you have Zoridormi, you speak to her, you go to the old zone, you level up, then once you get to the story, it changes and in the new one you can always visit back and forward? Or how is that going to work?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I suspect that we will have the old zone. You'll level up appropriately. And then you will have the opportunity to transition to the new map. That's something I should confirm for you, though, okay. Because I don't believe we're rebuilding that experience.
Okay.
So I will have to check.
Yeah.
In order to make it possible for flying to happen, we had to make a copy and redo the zone. And because we reimagined the zone as well, it's not exactly how it was.
Yep.
We needed a little more space, for example, to make sure that the mountains going up into Zul'Aman weren't super sheer. They needed to gradually transition, which comes with the art fidelity, obviously.
Yeah.
So things are more or less where they were, but the quests themselves, are in the old content.
So you level up, old zone, you finish that, you come back, you see the new zone, and you experience the new zone.
Yeah, I think it's. I would have to check, but I think it's quite possible that's how that would flow.
Okay. That sounds good, thanks. So we know this expansion, Light versus the Void. One of the questions we had is, how is this thematic of this conflict shown visually in all of the zones? Has this taken into consideration when you build it? I guess you build around it. What is like, what was it like? What is it like building it?
Yeah, so I could use the Void Kit and the Void Zone as an example. That one was a really ambitious visual challenge that we had, right? It's like, when we think of the Void, it's really, in most people's minds, it tends to be the absence of things, right? So trying to make a space that felt really chaotic also doesn't lend itself traditionally very well to a very aesthetically looking sort of thing. With the Void, the way that we were really thinking about it was thinking about Salatath, right?
Yeah.
Like she is at this moment like the representation of that, the void, right? So we were really thinking about what about the way that she manipulates things is different than other enemy kits that we have seen in the past. Like, for example, we had known about domination and the story there with the jailer and all those things that we had seen before. And we really wanted to make sure that the themes that we did with the void architecture, for example, were contrasting against that, right? So one of the themes that we identified with Salatath was the idea of leashing. So where domination in the jailer, it's all about complete control.
Yeah.
Salatath is not really that concerned with completely controlling things. It's like,
go back.
yeah, she's really harnessing the energy, the chaotic energy of the void, and she's able to tether it and like point that energy towards her goal, right? She's really been able to give the higher level of sentience to something that is really chaotic and really wild, like the void, that is all about entropy and all about chaos.
Okay, thank you. And with the new zone, Hanada, I don't know how to pronounce it properly.
Yeah.
How are you making the void and light seem there? Is it present or is it a bit more absent there?
No, the light especially is a big visual element in that zone. It is going to be one of the places where we're going to see a lot of what happens when, just as void can be dangerous, when, as we see with Salatath, the light can actually be not very benign if it's unchecked, right? So
it needs to be balanced.
Exactly. We can't really go into too many extremes. So in that zone especially, we're going to learn more about the light bloom and what happens when that doesn't go very well.
Okay, thanks. That's very good insight as well. So next question then. We saw the Army of Light, so we know the Army of Light is composed of many races we didn't even see yet. So is there any surprise? Are we going to see something maybe new appearing in the army, or is it just going to be the things we know in Azeroth exist?
I mean, the call that went out when the light answered Liadrin's prayer will have gone to many, many people. The Army of Light responds, of course, but it goes to players as well and others. So you will see some creatures you might not think would respond to the light's call. Okay. There's at least one in particular that is pretty baffled to be there. Doesn't quite know what happened.
I'm just here.
but is there. So the cinematic was meant to show just the first people coming through. Yeah. But when you arrive, when you start the expansion, the very first thing you'll do is appear in that light and step out to join that battle.
Okay.
There'll be lots and lots and lots of heroes and faces you recognize, and it'll be quite a mix of things. And I mean, there's a huge fight going on, so there's different places to do different things throughout. And there's civilians to save because it's not going well for them either, and so forth. So there's quite a lot to do to kind of secure things enough to then be able to make any plans at all.
It's a war, right? Everyone needs to be safe and everything needs to be defended, so that makes sense. Okay, thanks. Let's go with the next question then. We know in the past the sacred tree, Tashala, was cut down by Arthas, right? So are we gonna, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Tashala, is it the name? The tree, the elfic tree.
I can't hear very well, they're very loud.
Sorry, yeah. So the elfic tree, the sacred elfic tree, that was cut down by Arthas.
Yeah.
That one has been cut down by Arthas, as I just mentioned. Are we gonna see more story about it in Harrenir? Because it says the roots go down there for every tree there, right? So are we gonna see more about that tree in there? And do we maybe see it replaced or something growing in doing this expansion?
Harrenir has existed for a really long time, and the tree roots that from all the world trees, are twisted and twined together in this place. And I don't want to spoil some of the surprises that you will see there, but a place like that is going to be immensely powerful with all of the world tree roots coming together there. It's a very special place. And one of the things that you can do in Harrenir is go to the Den of Echoes, which is the place where Harrenir have recorded their memories. of events that have happened, including things that happened quite far long ago in the past.
Okay.
And you can experience things that happened at that time through a feature called Legends of the Heronir.
Legends of Heronir.
So I think that I don't want to do any spoilers here,
Okay,
but
that's
I
fine.
do think that it will be really interesting for people. The fact that the roots are here is very important. The fact that the light has gained a bit of a foothold in this area, and it's not balanced, is
Okay.
quite important to the story. So I think I think I'll let you explore it.
Yeah, so for lore lovers, we'll love that zone as well and getting that extra context added to everything. Okay, that is great. So we got housing, this expansion. How did the art team approach the housing, creating the props for that? Because it's huge. We want all customization we can, right?
Yeah, I would say with that one, that was like a very interesting challenge because we definitely wanted to add brand new objects that players could use to prop out their house and everything.
Yes.
But also, there's so many objects throughout the entirety of World of Warcraft, of things that we have made, right? That we wanted to revisit to see if there were things in there that could be in our initial offering for things. We also wanted to explore the idea of customizing.
I saw that one, yeah.
Maximum customization is always the goal. Like we want to make sure that players can theme out their home whichever way they want. So if they want to, let's say, mix and match colors or styles for certain things, that was something that was like a big element for it. At the end of the day, it's really about player fantasy. We want to make sure that people have as much freedom to achieve whatever fantasy they might want to.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So Eversong, Woods, and Sulaman is going to be very close together. As you just mentioned, there's going to be a transition zone. But the Voidstorm and Haranir is not going to be close to that. So how are we going to travel to these areas? I guess it's going to be explained by the story, but can you give us some insight on how we're going to travel around that?
So going to Herondar will require the assistance of Orwena, who is able to open a way for us to travel through the routes, through the routeways, which is what the Heronir are officially the guardians of.
Yep.
So she'll be able to open the way for us to go. She has not done what the elders wanted her to do, so going home isn't necessarily going to be fun for her, but she will open that path for us. The Voidstorm is another question, because the Voidstorm is a real problem. We don't know how to get to it. We don't know, and that is one of the challenges that players will face is trying to figure it out. Ultimately, Umbric and the Void Elves will be important to this, and it's this is an opportunity for Void Elf players to feel good and know that like their class, their base, is really key here, and they're going to do some really cool things. When Void Elves are in Void Storm, they're going to have a little extra something because they're in their element, right?
That's nice to know.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have something like that.
So it's a nice little thing, but yeah, getting there is the big challenge. Like we have to fend off the storm. We have to keep the Sunwell pure while we try to figure out how to get there, and that's kind of the big challenge through the level up campaign. Is how do we reach that place in the sky? You can't just fly to it.
No, of course. You're like, well, how do you go to the voids?
Yeah, exactly. So that one requires some real effort, and the campaign will slowly show you like the effort needed to get there.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. It's gonna be interesting getting to the void somehow. So okay, thanks. So next question then. So we know that we're gonna be visiting Strandholm at some point, doing a storyline with Arathor. So is there a chance we might revive or reconstruct that city, or is it just going to look back to the past, what happened, get a bit more about the story? What's gonna happen there? Is there anything you can tell us?
I mean, Arathor is one of the best representatives of this conflict between light and void. because he is the child essentially of light and void, and he's going to be a little torn. He's going to be trying to understand what his place should be in the world, and he's got to take a little bit of a spiritual journey and learn, and so we're going to be actually traveling to a few places.
Okay.
Where he will both reflect on his father's path, but also the path of other paladins that have come before. So we'll visit a few locations that are important there, and he will hear from friends of his father's about what his father was like when he was younger and so forth. Which is always interesting, you know, when you learn things about your parents that you never knew.
So he's trying to understand
totally.
the past. He's trying to understand, learn from it. Okay, that's good to know as well. So I just got to mark that we are on time. We have more questions, that we didn't get to all of them. I wanted to thank you, first of all, for letting us do the interview. The Spanish community is going to like this, getting all to know everything we can. And thank you for making an amazing game. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the events. It's been amazing. So thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to interview.
Yeah,
These
no
were great
problem.
questions. Thank you so much.
We have more, but time is tight. So for the next time.
Next time.
So thank you.